Good morning, people. Welcome on board to another edition of Morning Spring right here on Western Spring Television. This is where we talk about socio-political issues affecting us as a people, speaking to critical stakeholders, politicians, policymakers, social advocates, so we can have a deeper understanding, a wider perspective, and you can make informed choices on the situation. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, welcoming you especially to the Thursday edition of Morning Spring. Femi is here. Good morning, Femi. How are you doing today?
You. Very well. Better than yesterday.
Good
Morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm alive.
Well. When I said better than yesterday, I meant it and I mean it in every sense of the word. Thank God for good health. Femi Ojo is my name. You're welcome to Morning Spring today. And you know what we do. We look at the papers, reeling it out, giving it to you, as they say, as he they ought. So we are ready for that, and then we get talking about everything that has to do with you, the betterment of this nation. There is a lot to really talk about, Evelyn. Yesterday watching the footages of former governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, at the courts, ranked by a retinue of lawyers. He was trying to smile, or he was beaming with smile rather. People are going and coming. His Excellency, maybe not anymore, maybe not at the moment. He sat down there, and then, while he listened to the charges brought against him, he denied any wrongdoing, pleaded not guilty, which is the first thing. But then he has been detained with the EFCC. Many will say, why couldn't he have gone this route honorably? Even if he's guilty, we don't have that fact. Let's even assume. Okay, that's why the courts are there, and we should show character. And of course, when you are in position, we have reiterated our point, know that the moment you are off that place and you are called to question, your book should be ready and to face it. So finally, the white lion is in court, literally.
Well, the end justifies the means, and this is not the end, by the way. We have to see the case to the end. So I'm sure a lot of Nigerians, especially Kogi people, have their fingers crossed as to what will happen, in this case. But the former governor beaming with a smile, I feel is just trying to send a message across to the people that there is no cause for alarm. That is okay, is well. This is just one of those things, and it will definitely surmount it. I caught that message when I watched that video, and I was like, okay, he's trying to send messages to probably supporters, his loyalists, and the people generally that there's no cause for alarm.
Why did he take? If actually there's no cause for alarm,
I was invited, and now I'm here, and I am going to definitely tell them what I know, and this case will be closed. But another issue or matter we should consider is why it took him this long to get to the EFCC.
Right.
It might be a conspiracy theory, but I'll just put it out there. And that is what happened during this month that Yahya Bello was missing, went he was declared wanted by the EFCC, and he couldn't be found. What happened
not just by the EFCC, almost all the security operatives, and none of them could apprehend him.
Yeah. What happened
till he came by himself?
Behind the scenes? What agreements have been made? What handshakes have happened? It's a conspiracy theory that him representing himself to the EFCC, something somewhere has been done.
Lots of
but we can't say. Like I said, it's a conspiracy theory.
You have already.
I said it's a conspiracy theory, and I just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah, and people with that theory wouldn't. At least they have the opinion, because you might think it. In as much you are going to present yourself. Why not do it earlier? Yeah, and now you know that you can smile, and you with your white Barbarian guy, there's no cause for alarm. Fine. As well, it is what it is. And when you said Kogi people have their fingers crossed, I bet to say maybe Nigerians or other persons that are not from Kogi State are even more interested in this case.
Sure.
I'm telling you, possibly maybe as equally as the Kogi people themselves as well. But then We'll cross to the newspaper segment right now because we are running with the time, and I'll be starting with the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper. It says Port Harcourt refinery marketers threaten boycott as NNPCL juggles petrol price. The Punch has that. With a rider, dealers insist PMS must be cheaper than Dangote's. NNPCL delays price portal opening, restrict product. A lot of, talking points there. And below that, EFCC opposes Bellows bail application. Court remands ex-governor. You can see his picture there in his white kaftan, in the court, outside the premises, with the men of the EFCC. That's the white lion who came with the white kaftan. Now, reps to probe 8.4 trillion naira allegedly withheld by NNPCL, and tragedy averted as tanker spills diesel in Lagos. All right, and that's a good one. I mean that there is no tragedy. I don't mean the tanker spilling its content. Now, Ocean Airport, APC project panel clash over relocation. That's one thing brewing here. The Ocean Airport, many talking points, agreement, concessions, what is, what not. And we learned it will be moved, from that place, that project to somewhere in Akudaide, and the people of Ocean are not having it. There has been some explanation today. There is a concession by the state government under the last administration, with the Nigerian Air Force, to, possibly run the place, or a partnership, and that the airport thing, it doesn't have the required width and all of these things. Maybe in the coming days we get to talk about that. Ocean Airport, APC, project panel clash over relocation, and tax panel to defend bill at Senate debate today. And here, Finnish court sets May 2025 date for a past trial, and 30 years experience prepared me for COS job. That's Chief of Army Staff Ohiolei. We wish him all the best. Tinubu to name new envoys after France, South Africa visits. All right, so that will be all from the Punch. What's it there?
And from the Punch newspaper, we head on to The Guardian newspaper this morning. 555,000 shareholders forfeit 215 billion naira dividends over costs. Inflation. You can find that on page 6, and of course you can get some details on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. The acclaimed dividend retrieval process. What you have to do to reclaim your dividends. You log on, note your registrar's name, download and fill your registrar's form, and submit the form. That's a whole lot. 555,000 shareholders forfeit 215 billion naira dividends over costs. Inflation. Power generation stagnates amid promises. Repair of 128 towers at 8.8 billion naira. Transport-related accidents cause most children's death. Lagos declares what can be done, what should be done to ensure that this is averted. Children should not, pay for the mistakes of someone else. Transport-related accidents, you have tankers falling, tankers catching fire, gutted by fire, and all of that. Recently, I think last week, we had a tanker fell on a particular car, but people have been saying the man cheated death because he came out, unscratched, and a lot of people have been alluding to how blessed or lucky he is to, because I saw that video and I wondered how he managed to stay in that particular car for close to 1 hour before they were able to take off the tanker off his car.
Many persons believe, the efforts were there, by bystanders, rescue efforts by many persons, but some will say maybe divine protection, because sometimes you can't explain some of those things.
Exactly.
The weight of what fell on a car and it was being able to be pulled out. But then, beyond all these things, we need to do better, just like you are saying.
Yeah. ABU decries 310 million naira per session electricity bill. 310 million naira electricity bill. A lot of people have spoken, especially to this band A, band B, band C thing. And you have institutions, hospitals, factories having to pay more monthly, and not just more in a very small margin. You have them paying outrageous amount for electricity bill every month, and definitely this will trickle down to the prices of goods and services. And who bears the brunt? The final consumer. And we have ABU decrying 310 million naira per session electricity bill. ABU is Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. Court remands Bello, two others over alleged 110 billion naira fraud. Senate braces for heated debate as tax reform bill set for passage today. That's the controversial tax reform bills. Dawn raises alarm as diabetes cases surge may rise to 783 million by 2045. Dawn raises alarm as diabetes cases surge may rise to 783 million by 2025. That's an alarming figure.
Very alarming.
And I hope, the Ministry of Health can look into this, and also the different ministries of health in the different states should look into this. Now, not that when we get to 2045, then we start to think we can't do anything. This is the time for us to work now. I created more states to douse fear of northern domination, says Gowon. And from another former head of state and president, Nigeria has sufficient resources to build self-reliant economy, says former President Olusegun Obasanjo. That will be all from the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Guardian newspaper, we head straight to the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust. It has these tax bills. Senate brushes aside opposition amid presidential committee. Tax bill, Senate brushes aside opposition amid presidential committee and to debate proposed reform legislations today. There was a mad drama yesterday when we learned the Senate was in plenary and the FRS team, or the tax team rather, headed by Mr. Ohiolei, came in and they were allowed to just come in like that, and many of the senators were not having it to say. But we have business of the day to attend to, and some persons are coming in on us, and we are just admitting them like that. You need to see the exchange between, somebody that will never back off or that will never keep quiet in whatever he believes in. That's Alindume. Was talking, pointing at the Senate president to say, you should fear God. You should fear God. There are rules about this thing, and just because some persons are from the president, because they have a task on tax, you can just admit them just like that. But then, that is what we are seeing at this time. To debate proposed reform legislations today and fraud. Yahaya Bello remanded for fresh arraignment today. And operations raise safety. I take that again. Operators rather raise safety concerns over air traffic controllers shortage. Air traffic controllers shortage. Okay, and TED Fund suspends foreign scholarship over cost and abscondment. TED Fund suspends foreign scholarship over cost and abscondment, especially these latter, where you get to see people that are being sponsored by the government, when they travel abroad to further their education skills. Many of them, in fact, more than a significant number of them, will not come back. And by the way, it is not that they are resigned from their work here. is the fact that they are still there. Some of them, their salaries still running, their emoluments, but right there, they might have picked up other jobs, and they are being sponsored by the funds of the government through the debt fund. So here is the thing: one would say we can blame the people in power for all we like. So what do we say to lecturers, civil servants who are sponsored to go and be empowered by skills, by certificates, by knowledge, and they refuse to come back? What do we say to that?
Professor Tunji Ogunyemi has actually spoken on this matter before when we had him on the show, and he mentioned that it is greatly unpatriotic, and also we should call it what it is. They are thieves.
Thieves?
Yes. We should call it, that's me personally. I mean, Professor Ogunyemi didn't use that particular language, because
what did they steal?
If you have been sponsored to another country to acquire skills, acquire more knowledge, so that you can come back and use it for the country.
Yeah, for your sponsor.
There is an agreement. It wasn't, I believe it was not a vocal or verbal agreement. There must have been some signatures, pen to paper, and all of that. So you cannot use or ride on the monies of the government to go study elsewhere, and you are not
be empowered,
and you do not come back,
and you're not using
to
it for
reinvest what you have been empowered with into the country. I mean,
for you, they are thieves.
They are.
Okay.
Even if you have reason not to come back, I believe what should have been done is, it's either you come back to the country and ensure that the paperwork are done as to why you cannot continue. I don't know how that plays out.
And
if there is a bond, exactly. If there is a bond on ground, so
maybe
you cannot just stay over there and
just continue life.
And that speaks to the anyhowness of our system. You know, the head of service of the Federation spoke about the fact that there are people that had resigned already. They are outside of the country and they are still receiving salaries.
So who is paying?
From Nigeria. So it speaks to the
anyhowness of our system. Does that mean the resignation was not tendered, or the resignation was not received or approved?
That we can't say. We don't even know what's happening right now.
A lot of questions, actually. Lots and lots of questions. Okay. One will say, maybe to put it mildly, these are dishonest people. And, it will now be quite ironic, because you might see such people still adjudicating, still making comments on issues happening in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Calling other persons to, account, while you have been sponsored by the same government, you have refused to come back and, either pay back the bond by financially, or you use that same skill for the development of that country. Is what it is. But one thing is, we try to justify things. When you say these things, especially in public space, people will tell you, how much, can it be equate, yeah.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
But that's what we do.
We can't continue
People will tell you, do you know how much the other guys are stealing? What's this one, just peanuts that you're talking about? And people will put it straight to you, to your face, and say, if it were you, will you come back after you are in a climb that works? But then dishonesty is dishonesty. Evelyn call you people thieves, so you better go and repent. Okay.
You can say petty thieves, but a thief
that's
is
not
a thief.
petty. When you are sponsored with millions, that thing doesn't come cheap
at all.
They pay for your tuition, they pay for your accommodation, give you stipends. It doesn't come cheap, And as we are speaking, sadly, some are still contemplating that as well. If actually this thing will click, and away it flew. That's the way it will be. That will be all from the Daily Trust, for today. And I guess the end of the segment for now. When we come back to speak to issues, the latest development in the oil sector, what it is, refineries here and there. I don't want you to preempt. It will be a very nice conversation, and it is about the development of this great nation, the energy and the power sector. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Stay with us. We'll be back.